Hello everyone, welcome to my fourth presentation for my AI project that I'm doing for my second year first sem. So I'm going to jump into sharing my screen. I hope you can all see this. Yeah, as you all know, I am presenting Chat Assistant, which is a proposed new human-machine interface. I go by the name Scamas Judan Arthur. I studied at my career, located in Uganda. Yeah, the abstract. Okay, now in this document, we are going to be explaining the build process of a closed domain and partly generative-based chatbots, charged with the responsibility of assigning its assigned user with day-to-day computer software interface-related data-based tasks in such a way that the development of user engagement and efficiency by reduction of labor and time allocation to activity accomplishment. In other words, what I'm trying to say that is that I'm going to take you through the way how I'm going to go about the design process of my chatbot. It's going to be a closed domain chatbot, generative, closed domain. In other words, it's not going to be catering for all. So it's going to be catering for a specific part. Like it's going to be, we shall see in the future. We shall see in the future. So the background of my AI project. As you all know, in the past years, in the past decades, we have witnessed change. We have witnessed change and advancement in computer in interfaces, user interfaces. So now mine is going to be like another maybe something that is being invented, something new to act like an interface, but it's going to be like AI guided, like it's going to follow the guidelines of AI. So in the past years, we have seen the graphical user interface, the command line interface. Now I'm bringing something like an assistant interface, like as interfacing with some lively chat bot at the back. So chatbots are an interaction between a person and a bot, which gives an effective or efficient service in many life activities. So I'm showing the background, but also showing the AI accountability. So humans can be quite unpredictable, even like for a fellow human, humans can be quite unpredictable. So focusing on accountability for the wrong interpretation, biased reasoning embedded within the chatbot. So we have to cater for those cases whereby, okay, someone has maybe written a chatbot, but depending on what he thinks, not not like the general knowledge of like everyone's contribution. So something like that. Significance of the AI project. The AI project is significant in such a way that consider areas where like saying a command is much faster than maybe like looking for the command on over the screen. Like you just say it, you tell it, you know what, give me back the results of my, I don't know, something. It gives you back it. So talking through an algebraic task. In other words, you're going to find instances where someone is supposed to do like maybe form filling, is supposed to fill here, is supposed to click a certain checkbox, is supposed to maybe increase a certain radio button, so things like those. You can just talk them through, and then the chatbot will understand what is supposed to be done. Extending personality to lay user. Now, there are users who are visually impaired, so this interface here is going to be helping them out. So that way, it's also going to be significant. Uh, and then implementing functionality of okay, now there are functionalities, or there are interfaces which require some specialized, okay, so like you require a person to have good knowledge about what he's doing. So now, but we all know what we want. It's just that we don't know how to say it. So interfaces such as that database query language could be very, very familiar with some lay users. So saying what they want, what we all know what we want to have as a result, then the query is running by themselves without the user knowing what's happening, would be also a significant of a significant hypothesis. So project scope. In the project scope, okay, now we're going to cover in my project. I'm going to focus mainly on retrieval of information from a database by word of text. So I'm defining the scope right now by word of text, and then if time allows, I'll be doing all the crude functions that database supports. So you could be saying, get me all results, get me all records of toys that were sold from the last three days, and then something like that. Yeah? But it's not going to be doing too much of talking. It's going to be okay, interact, like it has to ask like toys that are maybe colored yellow, or all of them, something like that, so that interactive chatbot related feature is also going to be there. So the problem statement is this human machine interaction as user interfaces. So now the user interfaces, we have the command line especially, and the graphical user, we are less human, like people are still not yet found with that. They're used to it, but they will see the importance of having maybe more human, like it's engaging, human engaging. AI research questions. How is the chatbot going to work? The chatbot, it's going to have a list of all possible inputs. And then from these inputs, it's going to be deriving other related inputs that could be coming towards it. Because the generation is very limited, chatbot does not work if the input message differs from the predicted patterns. And then the conversation context is only understood when programmed directly. In other words, what I'm trying to say, like the conversation context will only be understood when programmed directly. Like it's not going to be teaching it, so it's going. We shall have the supervised learning at the very top of it. Then, which training data is to be used? I'm going to be using something called knowledge bases. Knowledge bases are something like data sets, but you will see it in the next videos. It will generalize new messages. The conversation context is comprehended the same way if the knowledge base contains conversation flows. The conversation context is comprehended the same way the knowledge base. This is a repetition. It's a repetition. Then there is a question of how evaluation will be carried out. Conversation base will be stored. Like in other words, to evaluate, you have to know what conversations it has been having with the users, and then also you have to ask the user of how they found the chat. So user experience evaluation. Then there's also information that is finding out whether it's doing the right queries for the right questions or for the right user suggestions or intents. AI research objectives. There is some of the research objectives I found in AI is natural language processing. Natural language refers to the language, just like the way you could say high level language, what that's the computer language, and then natural language is the language that humans use. So this language that we are using to code, and some people are not yet very familiar with it, but imagine what it would be if people just use natural language. So it's such objective there in AI. Expert systems are these are like they depend highly on machine learning. They learn from past, like their past, and then they improve, and then they do like they do actions depending on what they have learned from the past to make better how do they call them, better reasoning. Now there is learning in AI, like it is very crucial to learning, like to get to adapt to know something. Then there is visioning. Systems in the future will require like a certain set of tools in order to classify what they are seeing and do deduction and stuff like that. Then there is inference. Inference is the ability to make to do reasoning that on some uncertainties, like it's not very clear, but you have to do some inference based on logic. So such is search in AI. There are many such things like searching for what query, searching for what reply, searching for what point you're going to. And so those things are data set description. So my data set description is for my AI project is going to be a classification, recognition. It's going to be for classifying and recognizing user intent. In other words, and then that's the link. That's the link to my that's the link to my data set. So the proposed methodology I'm going to be using as I'm designing my chatbot. First of all, I'm going to be defining the chatbot's purpose and managing its expectations. So in other words, it's very important to know that at the peak of your development of the chatbot or any AI project, you define the scope, because it's not having many things into something. You'd be able, like, is it master of all, and then you cannot like you know nothing about them. So like specializing in one thing is much better. So using the audience, understanding the audience. In other words, this is where I describe like which audience are you going to be? Are you going to be doing relating with students? Are you going to be relating with grown-ups? Maybe like people who in the working area. Are you going to be relating with children? Something like that. So you have to define the audience. Then are you going to also be doing with both of them? And defining the chatbot's personality. This is why you is it going to be a friend to the user? Is it going to be like a service provider? And the user is going to be a customer? Like what like if it in case it comes of if it comes across some unknown question, how is it going to come about it? Like such things, defining the chatbot's personality. Now designing the user journey. So now, given that you know the personality of the chatbot and then you also know the user audience, you can get those two, and then you try to define like the journey, like okay, now this is how it will begin. What probable questions will the user ask? And what probable answers are available for the user at that stage? Then they go on developing that. That's the user journey, and then integrate the natural language. So in chatbot development, it's very important to note that you are supposed to integrate natural language processing, because the only way, okay, natural language processing is a tool that is used by computers in order to understand like the grammatical context of sentences, user sentences. And there is the last part, but I was not shown on this diagram, which is testing. Everyone knows that testing is important. Now, model interpretation techniques to be used. Oh, there are very many model presentation techniques to be used. Now there is, of course, supervised and unsupervised. Then in supervised, we have supervised classification, regression, those things. Then there is transfer something, where you get some labeled data from some learning data set, then put it into another data set, something like that. Then there is also natural language processing is also there, word embedding. Now, word embedding is where you get words that are similar, that have the same meaning, you put them together. Yeah, it is helping in another also representation technique, which is it's reducing the dimensionality. So I'll be using that word embedding. So those are the references